My name is Jayashree Chatterjee. I live in Summit, New Jersey, and I'm a librarian at the Library of the Chathams in Chatham, New Jersey. I first came to this country in December 1990 because I was on a quest for my own identity. Since early childhood, I've lived in different cultures in different parts of the world, from the UK to the different countries in the Middle East to different places in India.
From Gitanjali by Rabindranath Tagore. Chitto jetha bhoy shunno, uchcho jetha shir, gyan jetha mukto.
I first read this poem in school as a child, but it was only later that I really understood its meaning when I was going through a very difficult time of my life as an adult. This poem gave me strength and consolation. About 20 years ago, I used to look upon myself as an in-between person. An in-between person was a person who'd been brought up in different cultures and who didn't belong wholly to any one culture. At the time, we lived in Saudi Arabia and my girls were in the 6th and 8th grade. I decided to take them to India for a couple of years. I had to find an American school in India, and there was no American school in the state that my husband and I came from. So we had to go to Kodaikanal, a little hill station in the south of India, miles away from any place I'd ever lived in before. We were completely on our own because my husband couldn't come and stay with us over there. This meant the family was broken up. It also meant we saw my husband only twice a year when we went home during school vacations. The first year and a half, we moved practically every 2 to 3 months. So there I was, moving from place to place, wondering whether I'd be able to find another house, wondering whether I was being supportive enough of my husband, who'd always been very supportive of me, and finally agonizing over whether my girls were going to grow up to be the complete human beings that I wanted them to be. There were 4 poets whose poems gave me a lot of consolation during this time. Rabindranath Tagore and his Gitanjali, Kipling's F, the poet of the Desiderata, and Noor Parker, a Muslim poet whose Urdu poem, Na Itna Tez Chalo Ki Jal Jao, also offered me consolation. But it was this Gitanjali poem that I chanted almost like a prayer over and over to myself. From Gitanjali by Rabindranath Tagore. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. I used to keep repeating these words in Bengali, so naturally the sentiments that the Bengali evokes are much more powerful than those that the English evoke. From Gitanjali by Rabindranath Tagore. Chitto jetha bhoy shunno, uchcho jetha shir, gyan jetha mukto, jetha গৃহের প্রাচীর আপন প্রাঙ্গণ তলে দিবস সর্বরী বসুধারে রাখে নাই খণ্ড ক্ষুদ্র করে, যেথা বাক্য হৃদয়ের উৎস মুখ হতে উচ্ছ্বসিয়া ওঠে যেথা নির্বারিত স্রোতে, দেশে দেশে দিশে দিশে কর্মধারা ধায় অজস্র সহস্রবিধ চরিতার্থতায়, যেথা তুচ্ছ আচারের মরু বালু রাশি বিচারের স্রোতপথ ফেলে নাই গ্রাসী, পৌরুষেরে করেনি শতধা নিত্য যেথা, তুমি সর্বকর্ম চিন্তা আনন্দের নেতা নিজ হস্তে নির্দয় আঘাত করি পিত, ভারতেরে সেই স্বর্গে করজাগরিত।
The Favorite Poem Project is made possible by the National Endowment for the Arts, fostering America's creativity and investing in our living cultural heritage. Additional funding has been provided by the John S. and James L. Knight Foundation and by the William and Flora Hewlett Foundation.